being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave, on the Township website, and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
All right, at this time, could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? Please keep in mind those victims of the shootings in Texas, the church shootings, please, in your moment of silence. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Roy.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sipple.
Here.
Mayor Simonson.
Here. All right, we move down to, we don't have a work session this evening, so we move right down to the consent agenda. Does council have any comments or questions in regards to the consent agenda?
I have a comment. Resolution 2017-291, that change order number 2 for the Bay Shore stage drainage. Mr. Ridgway, correct me if I'm wrong, but with this getting passed tonight, this will again trigger the process of going out to bid, moving it forward?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
None.
All right, seeing none, we open it up to the public for any questions or comments on the consent agenda only. If you come up to the microphone, please just state your name and address for the record. Thank you. Any questions on the consent agenda? All right, everyone's so much closer tonight due to it. I don't see any, so we close the public portion.
Approval of minutes from the October 16, 2017 meeting. Approval of closed session minutes for the October 16, 2017 meeting. Resolutions number 2017-283 through 2017-300.
All right, I get a motion to approve.
I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Conrad.
Yes.
Councilmember Perry.
Yes.
Councilmember Roy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sipple.
Yes.
Mayor Simonson.
Yes. All right, we move down to the regular agenda.
Ordinance number 2017-12. This is authorization for the sale of land to a contiguous landowner. This property is located at 15 Sprucewood Avenue, Block 362, Lot 7, to Mecca Investments, LLC, at the price of $11,100. This is the second reading and public hearing of this ordinance. This ordinance has been posted, published, and made available to the public.
All right, any council comments or questions? We discussed this last time, we're good? All right, we open it to the public on ordinance 2017-12. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we close the public portion. We get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Councilmember Conrad.
Yes.
Councilmember Perry.
Yes.
Councilmember Roy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sipple.
Yes.
Mayor Simonson.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2017-13. An ordinance for special emergency appropriation as per NJSA 40A4-53, authorizing the preparation of an approved tax map. This is the second reading and public hearing for this ordinance. This ordinance has been posted, published, and made available to the public.
All right, once again, any questions or comments from council? I know we spoke about this last meeting, but anything? None? All right, we open it up to the public for comments or questions on ordinance 2017-13. Yes, ma'am.
Diane Kelly, 675 Crawford Road. I guess my main question is, why wasn't this job out to bid? I mean, you have three ordinances here for three different bids: $13,950, $51,573, $36,000. But you have a job here for $731 $1,000, $750,000 that was not put out to bid. Can anybody tell me why?
Well, I can tell you that, I'll start off, Diane, by telling you that we've been looking at this for the last 3 years, the tax map situation. So there's been a lot of time to do research, and in the past, we've pretty much stuck with one engineering firm, especially in 16, most of 15, and this year, we have used 4 different engineering firms, and one of the things we looked at was who has done this recently. Middle Township has done it recently, and in talking to the people in charge up there, they were more than happy with the job that got done in doing it. Secondly, the numbers that we had been listening to for the last 2 years were far higher than this number. Another factor was that the individual that's the president of the Digital Tax Committee, I feel is probably the expert in the area on this, and in speaking to a couple other municipalities, I was comfortable in recommending Van Note Harvey for that, and to the best of my knowledge, they've never gotten any other work with us. It's just, that seemed to be the specialty, and with the technology bit of this,
Are you saying, excuse me, Mr. Ridgway, are you saying that they're the sole source provider of this particular digital mapping? Because that is not true.
I didn't say that they were the sole person.
Okay.
I said the people that I personally checked with gave nothing but high
I'm not
mark.
questioning their ability to do the
Okay.
job. My question is, why was this not put out to bid?
This is a professional service contract for specialized services. This is the type of contract that's exempted by law from public bidding because
You have
the
that law?
legislature realizes in enacting the laws that some things really don't lend themselves to bidding. When you're dealing with specialized services with a public service contract, you want to go out and find the guy that everyone else is using, get references, compare it to some of the other engineers that we have access to. Because a lot of times, if you do bid it, you're bidding apples, and what you're getting back is oranges. You're not necessarily getting back the guy that has the resume that dealt with one town over or one township over. That's why.
Yeah,
we
I
didn't
understand
bid.
what you're saying, Mr.
But
Stavankowitz,
that's why we didn't.
but
bid
I
it.
am a certified tax assessor, and I
I
have
get
been one
that.
for 17 years.
I get that.
And I have never been in a town where tax maps were not sent out to bid. And those bids coming back, they have a criteria and a checklist.
Right.
And so if you were going to do it this way, you certainly could have chosen Van Note Harvey, but to do it like
But
this
to do it
without
this
getting
way-
other bids,
But to do it this way was completely in accordance with the law.
do you have
It
that
always-
law? Because I'd like
it
to see
always-
it.
It always comes down to, Rob will be happy to give it to you, but it always comes down to whether or not you're more comfortable sending a specialized project like this out to bid, or you're comfortable doing it internally, doing your due diligence and awarding the contract.
Well, I'm speaking
And
to
they're
council
reasonable-
now, and
reasonable
I'm
minds
saying
can
that I
differ
think
on
you
it.
had your due diligence was to put this out to bid.
Well,
As a certified tax assessor for over 17 years in 5 municipalities, I can tell you that I've never seen it done this way. And this is not a specialized service. Almost most engineers can do this kind of work. Now, not saying that you had to take the lowest bidder. You certainly want to take the best bidder, the one that's going to give you the best job. And I know because I just did tax maps update in Ventnor that haven't been done for 40 years. I just feel if you were going to do this correctly, if you were going to do your due diligence to your taxpayers, you should have put it out to bid instead of just saying, oh, this is the best guy for the job. And that is my feeling. And I do want to see that.
but that's a preference.
I do want to
That's a
see that law.
preference.
I don't believe that it is. I do believe that the law states that over 15,000. Like I said, you have
That's
you
not
have 3
accurate.
ordinances
That's
here.
not accurate. And we'll leave it at that. It's a preference, and this is the legal process that council chose to adopt.
Then it's on you.
And we think we got the best man.
Well, obviously, you think that you got the best person, but you don't know that because you didn't bother to go out to bid.
Thank you. Well, you know, I appreciate the research it was done, and there was a lot of research and a lot of due diligence put into it, and it's something that needs to be done. But anyone else have any questions or comments on it? Seeing none, we close the public portion. I get a... Go ahead. Well, you have to stand up to the microphone, please, and identify yourself.
My name's Ray Wisniewski from Texas Avenue. I'm reaching out with Diane here. Who won the bid and who got the bid? It's just my question.
Well, it wasn't bid. That
Well, who got it, though?
Van Note Harvey
Van Note Harvey.
is the engineering firm.
Are they from this area?
They cover Cape May County, but
they specialize in these type of endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and Ray, these maps are over 50 years old. So discussions were had concerning, I mean, this has been long overdue, and I'm finally glad we're getting to the point of doing this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else before I close the public portion? All right, close the public portion and get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simonson?
Yes. All right, at this time, we have our council comments. Or, Mr. Ridgway, do you want to go first or last, or?
Whatever you prefer, I'll be glad to go. I have some comments to the council and public comments involving issues with our zoning people who I've met with. First off, at the bottom of the parkway, there is next to urgent care, a brand-new liquor store and delicatessen that's going to be built there, and it will connect to urgent care through the parking lot. The current building will be torn down. This will be a brand-new structure. Secondly, the exit from the Bay Shore Mall to Ferry Road is complete with two-way traffic. That includes new lights, and all have been approved by the DOT. Thirdly, although you've seen a lot of work being done at the airport, the entranceway is moving along real well, and the main entrance will feature a roundabout, and to the left of the main entrance going in, if you were to drive in there in the next couple of weeks, you'll see 8 new potential business operations for the township. I believe right now 2 of them have already been leased out and are operating, but some of the expansion is being shown there now, and the airport continues to move forward. That's it.
Councilman Conrad.
One, I was quickly trying to find the actual number for the lady of the legislative. First, want to just touch on everyone please go out and vote tomorrow. Very important day. But also the food banks. I've been harping on this past few meetings. They're getting empty. Please, if you give, give. And the last thing I want to touch on real quick, unless I can find the wonderful number for her, is on this Saturday, November 11th at the VFW in the Villas. It's Veterans Day, 11 o'clock. They have a ceremony there for Veterans Day and on Memorial Day. If you can make it, please make it. They closed the road off, so it's safe. And that's it for me for right now. Unless I can find this number.
Just a couple brief things. We just set our clocks back. Everybody, I'm sure, has done that by now. But has everyone checked their smoke detectors, carbon monoxide alarms in your homes? We're about to get a shot of cold weather this coming weekend. Furnaces are going to be kicked on. Boilers will be up and running because of the cold weather. Please Make sure that you check your batteries and your detectors, make sure detectors are working. In the event of fire, you're going to get an early alarm to be able to get out. Also, with the cold weather, don't forget to check on your neighbors.
Councilman Rowley?
I have no comments. Thank you.
Okay, just a couple of comments. As you know, the council's been working with Cape Assist on different programs for Lower Township. We did the youth camp in July. It was a big success. Also worked with the director from the Cape Assist to help us get an advocate for our court system. And they're going to apply for a grant. They believe it'll be approved. If approved, it'll probably start sometime in 2018. And this advocate will basically work with the different individuals coming to court that have some issues, whether it's drug abuse issues or any type of issues like that. They'll have the resources to direct them to with the county to help them out. So if a person comes in for shoplifting, there's a good chance they'll come in for shoplifting because maybe they have an addiction problem. So we'll try to resolve or help that person so they don't come back the second time. So that's a good program for the Lower Township. It's not approved yet, but we anticipate it being approved. On the veteran side, there are a couple days in the month of November that there's a mobile medical clinic is traveling around. They'll be in Wildwood tomorrow at the American Legion from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. to do health screenings. And they'll also be in Ocean City from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 29th of November. As Councilman Conrad mentioned, the VFW, the service is 11 o'clock in the morning for Lower Township. Also, the county's having one at 2 p.m. at the Veterans County Cemetery. Something new just came out this the other day to help veterans. There's going to be an income tax exemption for veterans for your state income taxes. Starting, actually for the year 2017, we'll be able to deduct $3,000 from the total income while you're doing your taxes. You have to provide your certificate of discharge from active duty, but more information is supposed to come out on November 15th. So again, it's a $3,000 deduction for veterans for the year 2017 state income tax. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Eric, can I jump in real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Ma'am, the law is New Jersey SA 40A, semicolon 11-5. Okay, I was giving you the information. Okay.
All right, yeah, tomorrow is going to be busy here. One thing I want to mention, and Deputy Mayor Sipple came over to the high school this evening. We're working on integrating a ROTC program into our high school, something that hasn't been done there, and there's a lot of advantages of it for our students. So tonight we had two members of the National Guard come and speak to some of our student athletes, and we appreciate that. So that's something we're going to go forward with as well. Along with that, we had our Pumpkin Festival, obviously the annual at Cold Spring Village and Parade. I personally want to thank, on Friday, October 27th, we had a big homecoming weekend over at Lower Cape May Regional, and they always have a pep rally and a huge bonfire, which is overseen and managed by our Irma Fire Department. They did a fantastic job, as usual, and we appreciate their help. We couldn't do it without them. Also, on Saturday, we had obviously a homecoming, but along with that, we cut the ribbon to a new field house for athletics, and that field house is very important to all of us because, you know, one of the main things I know I spoke about and the other councilman up here was about shared services and getting more programs for our youth, our seniors, and our families and our veterans, and providing more services by coming together with other entities, other towns, municipalities. So this field house that we have is a shared service between Lower Township and the Lower Cape May Regional School District, and it's going to be a huge success. It's open now for business. At this time, it's only going to be used for Lower Township rec programs and Lower Cape May Regional programs, but in the future we'll be open to outside organizations as well. So that was great. And speaking of shared services, we were supposed to have our trunk or treat, our annual trunk or treat this past, or on Sunday before Halloween, and due to the weather, had to be moved to Monday, which was also the same time as one of the largest events in our town. Holiday event is a haunted high school at the high school. So we all got together and worked out a combined shared service area. You had the trunk or treat as well as haunted high school. I know Officer Barkus, our school resource officer, estimated that probably 4,000 to 5,000 people came through that night. So just a great event. A lot of volunteers, a lot of the kids themselves, the high school students volunteer, and just a great community event that gets everybody together, and it's just a nice event for everyone. Some more good news. Last Wednesday was our Lower Township Health Fair. We want to thank these two right here and everybody that put it together. It was really nice. It was all kinds of businesses there for health and nutrition and live entertainment and giveaways, massages. Jim even got his blood pressure checked over there because he needed it. And if you've ever been a town manager, you would know. But it was a great event, and we thank you to all of our volunteers that came out and those that put it together. Another very important meeting that Mr. Ridgway and I attended was we went up to the county building for the Bridge Commission and local officials, the South Jersey Transportation Organization, to talk about bridge development in our town. And the main topic there was a local concept development study for Ocean Drive, the upgrades and bridge improvements, basically from the Parkway Bridge all the way up Ocean Drive into Diamond Beach. And that includes the 3 bridges along the way. Anyone that's ridden over those, I'm sure, have held onto your steering wheel for dear life. And we hope that will be changing in the near future. So that is on our horizon, something that we've been after for many years. So we see that coming to fruition as well. And also had a meeting this past week with Jesse Rinkowitz, who was at our last meeting, a former student that had concerns, and it's been a concern of ours for a long time, public transportation to the airport. I know Mr. Ridgway mentioned earlier all the development being done in the airport, and with that in mind and all the new businesses coming to the airport, we are developing a additional part of the New Jersey Transit route that I spoke to Dale Foster, the head of our roads, and from the county about, and he is on board, and we're going to be pitching that to New Jersey Transit. We're going to be fighting for that. Hopefully we will have public transportation to the airport area in the near future. So I think I covered it all. What else did I forget? Oh, we have a Run for the Fallen fundraiser. We're getting it out early. We'll be reminding you frequently that February 3rd of 2018 in Wildwood at the Bolero. Yep. So, and the reason that we start early in that is because that money is very important. Obviously, it helps to house all the Gold Star families and all the volunteers and runners and such over that. How many days is it now? It's 4 days. Yeah. So, unfortunately, grows, but it's a wonderful event, and that goes to funding all those involved, so that we can keep that going. All right. At this time, we open at the public comment, and we ask that if you get up to the mic, you just state your name and address for the record. Anyone? Yes.
Mike Rosenberg, Phyllis. The ceremony for the Veterans Day, I believe, is going to be at the airport and not over at the cemetery. I think they changed that all now to the airport.
Oh, the county you're talking about.
The
Okay.
It's going to be still at 11.
Right.
County. Yep.
I didn't need to correct
Yeah,
the Army.
Naval Air Station.
No, thank you. Yeah, so it's going to be 2 o'clock at the Naval Station, Air Wildwood. Yes, Naval Air Station, Wildwood. Thank you. Say that 5 times fast.
And you are correct. If I would have read the calendar that Joey gave us, it said Naval Air Station on it. Thank you, Julie.
It's usually at the county. This year it is going to be at the Naval Air Station, Wildwood, 2 o'clock. Hours in Lower Township is still, it's at 11 o'clock in our at our Villas VFW. All right, thanks for that. Anyone else? Sir.
My name is Ray Wisniewski. I live over on 28 Texas. I just want to begin first thanking Mr. Ridgway, Eileen, for all your help over the last 2 years. We've moved here from Philadelphia about 4 years ago, and we love the villas. We love Lower Township. We've got so much to offer down here. But some big concerns is the drugs. We speak up. We tell Lower Township Police. They help us the best they can, but we feel we are continually harassed when we speak up. I'm curious to know what council is going to do, or what they are doing currently, to help with the drug situation. Again, this is my first meeting, and I apologize for being, if I sound ignorant, but it is a big concern. Our street has at least 3 or 4 homes that are the center of the drug hub in that area. We have friends that moved down because we moved here, and we're bringing friends and family down this way. We want to continue that. But to do that, and they can hear people talking about drugs, seeing drug selling going on in front of your home, being harassed when you call the police, it doesn't look good. Again, we have neighbors from Philadelphia that moved down. My parents moved down. I'm concerned. I'm concerned for my life. We were threatened. And I'm shaking like a leaf here. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But I'm bringing it to your attention because I am really concerned. And we can do so much better for Lower Township
Right.
and for the villas.
Ray, I can make a few comments right now, and I will, but there are some things that I can't discuss right now also. But I want you to know that your concerns are our concerns, the whole council. And to tell you how close of a concern, last Thursday, I had a special meeting at the airport. And this past weekend, we hit the streets hard through the night with extra forces, okay? There were arrests made. I can't go into some other things that took place. There was heavy surveillance in certain areas. We also had a situation last week where a crime took place that was horrific in my mind, okay? That investigation is ongoing. I don't want to comment in depth on that, but I'll tell you, we're going the distance on all of these. We have the ATF showing up here tomorrow to work with our law enforcement people, our detectives, and I hear you loud and clear, sir. And
We've invested in $1,800 worth of surveillance. We hired a private company to help us out. Our neighbors have a surveillance going on their homes. The elderly folks down on the end of the street have private cameras now, and it just continues.
And I can tell you that we had a conversation 9 days ago, and that weekend, I can assure you, there were people on your street through that weekend.
And believe me, that's why I said thank you very much for your support. But I'm telling you, when they leave, the harassment just goes on and on and on. There's a neighbor across the street who has people living in the back of their home. They don't even pay taxes here. We do. We fix our homes. They don't. Okay? I'm frustrated.
Ray, I'm your councilman. I live down the street from you.
Yes, I know. I met you.
Okay, and this is the first, I know I can name one name from down your end. That's an issue, and I talked to your neighbor about it extensively. What we've done is first we ramped up the code enforcement. Before we talked about getting code enforcement involved with these problem houses, we now actually hired the code enforcement to actually go out and do that. They've been very proactive and the violations are fine. If we find it's a drug house, we're trying to send them in. It's not just the police. We got the Healthy Youth Coalition going on to try to get to the youth to stop it that way, because it's not just Lower, it's everywhere, but we're trying we're trying to think outside the box. We hired more police officers. We were talking about the drug problem, but we were actually, the number of police officers we had on the street was lowering. Now we got that back up, and now you're starting to, as you said, you saw them on the one weekend being highly proactive in there. The problem is, what happens when they leave? Yeah, we had the same problem north end of the villas. They were getting all ready. Somehow the people found out, like 2 days before they were going to get raided. Everybody cleared out.
We
we're
were
trying
just
to-
told, we were told that they're small fish. They're not going to get fried. But you know what? These small fish are feeding the small guppies, the young folks in this neighborhood.
And that's where it has to
And it's
fit
sad.
everybody. I agree with you. I got grandkids now growing up here. I had issues with certain people when we first moved in at my end. They left. Now it's some of them, and the one I'm most likely, the most difficult one you're dealing with, I dealt with 20 years ago.
Understand. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
I'll
Brent.
talk to you a little bit afterwards.
Some of the other things besides, obviously, we've increased our police presence, because that's, has to be done in a case like that we're dealing with, and I know other towns are dealing with it as well, but we have to worry about ourselves right now. And I know Tom mentioned our Lower Township Healthy Youth Coalition. I know the Deputy Mayor mentioned Cape Assist. These other organizations that we've been working closely with and got them involved. We actually, the Healthy Youth Coalition now meets in the schools, and we're running, it's about educating, and, we used to worry about high school kids. We're not doing that anymore. We're educating kids below the 6th grade, and I can tell you for a fact that there are kids younger than 7th and 6th grade dealing drugs and doing drugs. I can tell you it's happening. And you have to combat it by the younger ages need to be educated on all of this. And, it's a combination of things that have to happen. One thing isn't going to solve the problem. It's people like you, sir, being proactive. It's obviously our police force. We need to support them, and obviously keep our numbers up on the police force. And we need to educate the public as well as, like I said, our young people. And our young people aren't 9th through 12th graders anymore. Our young people are 4th, 5th, and 6th graders that need to be educated in this, because times have changed, and it is, like everyone knows, it's an epidemic. So we need to work together, but we are being proactive, like I said, working with different groups throughout the township and throughout the county. And we're going to continue to keep fighting a good fight, and we encourage, the good people of our township. If you have ideas or of maybe some programs that we're not aware of, please feel free to set up a meeting with us, bring it to the clerk or the manager's office, and we'll work together with you as well. We can set up meetings with the chief and the police department as well. We all need to work together to get this done. So, anyone else have questions or comments? Seeing none, we close the public portion.
Resolution number 2017-301, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss appointments.
Got a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sippel?
Yes.
Mayor Simons?
Yes.